Are we live?
I think we are. Awesome. We're live now. So
Wow.
wonderful. Melody, thank you so much for being here, for agreeing to be interviewed. And I also want to thank all the people who are showing up. You know, if you're here in the group and you just joined in with Melody and I'm going to be interviewing Melody. She's a participant in the Woman Beat Your Drum program, and she has just transformed so many areas in her life. And we're going to find out, like, what happened and how did that work? Right? So we're going to dive deep. So if you're joining us now, please write in the comments and just say hello. You know, like, I just love to see who's here, and also let us know where you are coming in from, like what city, where are you living? Where are you in the world coming in on Facebook and watching us? So, Melody Taylor, do you
From
want
New
to
Zealand.
from New Zealand, all the way from New Zealand. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. So what time is it there right now in New Zealand?
It's 11:45 a.m. Is my
Very good.
sound okay? Am I talking too loud, or is that just right?
Great. Sounds good.
I
Yeah.
tend to shout when I get going.
Well, why don't you tell people what it is that you do, and then they might even understand how come you shout.
Yeah, it does explain it. I've got an aerobics voice. I started teaching group exercise in 1981 and started my first business in 1983. Expanded it into a franchise aerobics business in the 80s. Perfect music, perfect timing, a perfect decade. It was just awesome. And we didn't have microphones. So
Oh,
I had speech lessons to be able to project over 30 to 60 people going 150 beats per minute and, you know, shouting out. So I get excited and I get going and I project more and more. So if I need to bring my voice down, just let me know. It just happens with excitement with me.
wonderful.
And since then, I've been personal training, one-on-one, completely different, but again, using my voice and project. So I'm a good projector.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you. I'm just so excited to be here with you. And also, you and I met like years ago in New Zealand in a in a personal development program around neuro-linguistic programming or multiple brain integration. Yeah.
Yes.
So just, because you use that, you use some of that in your work. So personal development is not new to you at all. So my first question to you, Melody, is, when there are so many other programs out there that you can choose from, what is it that had you choose the Woman Beat Your Drum program?
The truth is, I wasn't looking for a program to do. As you know, I have done NLP courses, master practitioner, the multiple brain integration to the master level. But this is what the problem was for me. I had done theory after theory after theory, and not enough practical. I hadn't applied it to myself, so I felt like I was full of theory, but no practice. When I met you at that course, and we did one exercise together, and we looked into each other's eyes, I felt like you had read my soul. It was the most amazing experience. It was one of those eye-watering moments for me. And we exchanged information with each other. And then your first book came out. So I followed you. I followed you and your book and your journey. We kept in contact when you were traveling through Canada. Then I started listening to you talk about the Women Beat Your Drum program. And I wasn't looking anywhere else. And I actually, in my relationship with my partner, had gotten to a stage where I felt just despair. I was sad, and I was sad more often than I was happy. And you were online talking, asking questions. Do you feel like this? Would you like to feel like that? How are things like such and such in your life? And I went, yes, I need help now. And then I spoke to you. we talked about what I would be looking for. You said what you have to offer, and that was my path. It was you for me. I wasn't looking outside of your journey actually, and I followed that, and then the course was a natural extension for me. And wow, am I glad.
Mm. Wow, thank you. Thanks for being so honest, about that. Because, when you go that deep, and what I mean is it's like you open yourself to be vulnerable, because particularly when you're a teacher yourself, and it's like you really have done a lot of work already, then it takes something to keep opening yourself yet again. It's like more courage to open your heart where you haven't looked before. And, and so I know it takes a lot of trust in the person you choose to be by your side to do that work. So, so thank you. Thanks for that. And, the other thing you said that I want to just expand on is you had got to a place in your relationship with your partner where you were in despair. And, I think, and I can relate with that in the past. We don't go into a relationship thinking that it's going to be that way. And sometimes it's just like little bit by little bit, and we think, oh, it'll get better when, or I'll just, if I just work harder, or if I just, and so we can get to that point where we really just don't know what to do. And we either get resigned and just think, well, I guess this is just the way it is, and I just have to put up with it. And then there's this deep sadness in our heart that something just isn't fulfilled. But then we tell ourselves, well, that's okay, because nothing's perfect anyway. There's always something, and we make it okay to be sad. We make it okay to live in despair, and it's not.
Yeah.
And we then sometimes think that we have to leave everybody in order to be happy. I've got to leave my relationship, leave my job, I've got to leave my family, leave my home in order to be happy. And what we don't realize is that oftentimes the thing that is actually in despair inside of us is not what we think.
Yes.
So that's where we're going to be going a little bit later. So I'm just kind of, putting a teaser out there, and I want to just speak to the people who are listening in. So if you've just joined Melody and I, please say hello right in the comments where you are listening in from, what city, country. Melody's in New Zealand, I'm in Mexico, and this is just amazing that we can do this work from anywhere around the world, and we just hop online in the internet, and then we can say hello and share this beautiful, valuable information here. So, Melody, I want to ask you, because, even though, you were following me, you did your research, we met in person in New Zealand, and you were like, yeah, like I feel that trust. I know from my own experience as well, is that before you step into transformation, before you step on that path, because when you step on that path, it's like just before you know that something's going to change, your ego knows it can't survive this path here. So before you registered in the program to go, yep, I'm in, let's go, what obstacle did you have to overcome in order to just fully and completely say, yes, I'm in, let's go?
There's really a couple, 2 or 3. The one was, is there still hope for me? I have done an awful lot of courses, and I didn't doubt the courses. Some courses were better than others. The quality courses that I did were absolutely quality courses with quality presenters. And I gained a lot. It still felt theoretical. And I would make changes in my life. I certainly felt transformed, but not at a deep level. And I think I wondered, will I ever really, you know, will I really get the changes? I believe that they could be had. I believe that the training that I had would allow that, but I just didn't know how to get it working as much as I wanted it to in my real life and feel like deep down, I truly had transformed. It was very theoretical. So that was an issue. Is there actually hope for me? Will I actually get it this time? Another one was I'm technologically challenged. It's not, I'm a mover, not a button pusher. I hate sitting. And so it doesn't really interest me, but when I am motivated to do something, then I will face the challenge of doing the technology. So the fact that it was going to be Zoom was, oh man, but I really want to do it. So that was a challenge. But I wanted, the outcome was more important than that particular obstacle. So I thought I will figure it out. I will get there with
Yeah.
some help.
Mhm.
Um, I can always earn the money. I had the money saved up. Money was never an issue. It was like, will I really be able to go deep this time? And will I be able to manage the technology and be able to do that with you?
Yeah.
So,
Got it.
yeah.
Let's talk about that first one because, is there still hope for me? Will it
Yeah.
work on me? Because once once you deal with that one, the others fall into place, right? Because it's like, okay, well, once you go beyond that, is there still hope for me? You just know you're going to sort out the technology in whatever way that you do. So, but I want you to know you are not the only one who has that thought. And by the way, let me just talk with the audience too. If you know that this can be an issue for you too, I want you to put your hand up in the comments and say, yeah, me too. Because I relate with that one. From the past of just and I can really get it. So you were looking for something, you wanted something to touch you deeply. You wanted it to go in deeply and you knew there was something deep that really wanted to be touched that hadn't yet been touched. And we can often, and as we try things, we go to courses, we read books, we attend, we talk with people, we engage coaches, we do all kinds of things to try and reach that spot. And but here's the thing, is that it is what I call a limiting thought. Is, will it work on me? And underneath that is the belief that there's something wrong with me. Is the belief that there's something so fundamentally wrong with me that nothing can really touch it.
Mm.
But there's always like, well, hope, like I'll do one more thing, hoping. I'll do one more thing, hoping. And then but the thing is, because we hold on to that belief that there's something fundamentally wrong with me, that it won't reach it, we are only looking to be right. Even though, I mean, it just sounds counterintuitive that, well, who wants to be right about that? But your ego does. And so I want to, first of all, find out how you dealt with this thought, and then I'll just expand a bit more on that one.
Which thought particularly?
That was that one there. Like, is there still hope for me? Like, that thought came up for you.
I've had a lifetime of feeling behind everybody, slower, learn slower, that it's harder. I felt like, for me, learning and keeping up, it's because it never was real, but it felt like I couldn't keep up. I felt like I was packing around a 30 kg load of self-doubt. I can't learn as fast. I won't remember. Maybe I won't practice it enough. Through my life, I've been able to achieve, but boy, that doubt, that self-doubt, will I get it? Will I get it fast enough? Will I keep up? Is just very, very had been, was deep-seated, and it entrenched a lot of areas of my life for sure.
Yeah. So
Mm.
how did you deal with it, Melody, to actually commit in the program?
I phoned you, or we spoke in person. So it was almost like a help message. At first, it was like, I'm ready. I need help. And you said, let's set up a chance to talk with each other, which we did. And you said, what would you like to change? And we just talked. And about the course, how you run it, um, what I needed, what the aims of the course was, and it felt like an absolute match. And I knew just through that short discussion that we had that I was going to go down this path, and I felt really sure that I was going to get an awful lot out of it. The doubt left.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And um and and we did a little bit of work on it too, because
Mm.
because remember, the wonderful thing is that we can change our minds. And we somehow seem to forget about that sometimes. And we think that some things are true when actually they're not true. And as you discover that some of the thoughts you've held about yourself and about what's possible, as you discover they're actually not true, they begin to disappear. And that's very cool. And that's also too where the transformation begins to work. So let's go there.
Yes.
So there you are in the program. And so what are some of the things that you got from the Woman Beat Your Drum program? And you can start anywhere you want.
Have you got
Lots
all
to
day?
share.
Honestly, when I was just going through my mind about that, answering that question, the list is huge. I'm going to start with a physical outcome. Is that my bowels were really good. I've healed. I had about 20 or 25 years where I had IB, irritable bowel syndrome, symptoms, and it had begun to really interfere with my life and what I could or could not do in the mornings. And I have healed, and I have normal bowel movements. I mean, that's huge. I didn't want to tell. It was almost a secret with me. I didn't want people to know how much I was struggling with it, and I didn't want to resort to any. I knew that if I could understand myself, if I could heal the anxiety that I felt inside, that things would start to get better, and they absolutely have. I now start work 5 days a week at 7 a.m. I don't have to think about, I have to be near a toilet. I can, there's just no limitations, and I'm functioning really well. That is massive. And that tells me my nervous system has calmed down and healed. And that is just the most life-giving transformation one. That's huge. Okay, so I wanted to mention that I feel, for the first time in my life, I have a interesting background in my childhood. I can feel love. I have never felt love in my life. Theoretically, yes, I would go through the actions of loving my son. I knew he loved me, but it was about knowing. And I actually feel love now. It's like a circle in my chest. And I look at my son, or I look at my dog, and I feel it. And I just like, it's the most amazing feeling.
I'm
That
just in tears. I'm
I
like,
know, I know.
oh my
I
God.
wondered, would I ever feel?
Yeah.
I could see other people feeling love. You can see it. You can see them flash. You can see the eyes. And I would look at people loving each other, mother and a child, or husband and wife, or sisters, and I would just wonder, would I ever feel it? Doesn't mean I didn't love, I just never got to feel it. And I feel it, and I feel it regularly now. It's like tasting food for the first time. It's the most amazing thing.
Oh,
So
Melody.
I really love that.
Oh, let me speak to that just a little, because I'm sure that there are so many people who can relate with that, with the, just the not feeling love. And that's what can happen when, when we're younger and we've been so wounded, when our heart has been so wounded, it's like scar tissue. And because there's so much hurt there, we turn the tap off of our feelings and we don't feel. And we know the feelings are there, we want to feel them, but because we turned them off so long ago, we've forgotten. And so, yeah, just one of the things, so just speaking to the people here who are joining us in this beautiful, precious moment is, one of the things we do is we heal, you heal those wounds that have stopped you from feeling, that have, stopped you from feeling joy, from feeling happy, as well as love. And what's really important to know, and this is, a lot of people are afraid of that, Melody, and you can imagine, is because they think they have to relive it all again, that they have to go back to trauma. And it's like, are you kidding? You do not re-traumatize yourself. You do not need to do that. But the thing is that you cannot ignore or suppress any longer the pains that have been there. And so that's part of the work we do, is to set it free, because it actually wants to be set free too. So to feel love again, oh my God, and to heal your gut, like that's, and I want to say too, that wasn't even one of the goals in the program, because the program does not make any promises around physical healing. But the thing is that your physical body is so influenced by all of your thoughts and the feelings that are going through you, because it affects the physical tissue, that when you heal the thoughts and those feelings, that there is a huge impact on your body.
That was a totally unexpected outcome.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to feel happy again. There was at that time when I first decided, when I first talked to you, I was thinking that I would have bad days. A good day was not a bad day. A good day was not a bad day. Now, here is my new truth. I never have a bad day. I never have a bad day anymore. I've come from a good day was not a bad one to I never have a bad day. I have a moment where I'm not sure how to do something, or how to respond to a situation, or will I, won't I, or just feeling maybe a little bit I've taken something personally and it feels hurt, a little bit of rejection, or there's a trigger and I feel abandonment. It's only a moment. And then the learnings that I've been through, the practical work that we've been doing over time kicks in, and I come back out of it, and I find the right thing to say to myself. I just don't have a bad day ever. I just need a tissue.
Yeah, you go for it.
It's happy drops.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So when I was going through the questions and going through in my mind, it seems like a long time ago. We actually started a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. I realized when I went back through my notes within a week or so, because I've done the program twice, in case anybody is wondering. It's been, for me, an amazing healing journey and practical experience that there is no doubt in my mind that I will forget, or I will lose, or I will go back to the way things were. I'm transformed.
That's it. That's it. And I'm glad you mentioned about repeating the program, because it's with transformation. And as I speak to the people who are joining us here, there is no magic wand. Melody will tell you that. I'll tell you that. There is no magic wand. You have to do the work. No matter what wonderful course you do, if you don't do the work and you don't do the assignments, you are not going to get the results that are available. So and then after after you've done the program. So the Woman Beat Your Drum program, it's a 3-month program and we meet weekly. And, so there's like momentum and momentum and momentum and, you're, busting limiting thoughts. And, but the thing is, remember that in your head brain here, it's just filled with limiting thoughts. You started collecting them the moment you began to think. So it's not just that you've got 3 major ones or something, and we'll deal with those. So it's like an ongoing, okay, so you change your mind about this one, change your mind about that one, but like one's connected with another one. And, and then you've got these habits because, you're practicing these kinds of things. And so, some people actually choose to do the program again. So, you can do the 3 months and then you realize, oh my God, like so much of my life is transformed. And I want to really embed that. I want to take it deeper. It's touching the thing I wanted to touch, and I want more of that. And, it may be like when you're putting in place new habits, well, when you've just started putting in place a new habit, like it's not strong enough. And so you're going to stay with that coach to strengthen that and to repeat that. So, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. So, if you're just joining Melody and Melody Taylor, she's this amazing woman from New Zealand. She's a personal trainer and has been in business since 1983. So if you're just joining us now, I do recommend you go back and listen to the beginning and the end. We started off really powerful. And please write in the comments where you're from, where you are coming in from, city, country. I'm here in Mexico, so we're all around the world. So Melody, what else did you get from the program? So you've shared so far about healing IBS, your gut, anxiety, and feeling love for the first time. So,
well, I mentioned at the beginning, one of the things I was despairing about was I was unhappy in my relationship with my partner. And, should I leave? Should I stay? But what I learned was I needed to improve the relationship with myself. More unintended consequences was I improved the relationship with myself, which improved the relationship with my partner because I stood my ground when I needed to. And then it was over. I didn't have a bad day. I had a moment. I needed to say something for myself. I would say it and it was gone, and I'd have a good rest of the day. So my partner was picking that up. And I started to realize as my relationship with me, which was that was the biggest thing. I didn't even have that on my to-do list. I didn't realize until we got into the unlimited, or limiting beliefs, how that had led to, my relationship with myself being down there. And as my relationship with myself improved, my relationship with everybody, my best friend, my partner, my son. Now I'm not even around my son all the time, but he just started, he's in his 40s, he's almost 50, and I get one word answers and
Wait a minute. You've just dropped a bomb and people are looking at you going, wait a minute, you're not more than 40. So now you got to give, right? You've just had 3 clients, right? You've just done 3 personal development sessions.
Personal training
sessions. Yep. You have got 2 more after this. And, and you shared with me. So just share with me how you feel, your energy level, and if you're up for it, sharing with people, like how old you are.
Well, I'm proud to say I am a personal trainer. I've been in the fitness industry all my adult life, one way or another. I love what I do. And I'm going to be 68 next month.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes. And in the last year, I have increased my energy and my potential and reduced the fatigue that I was feeling. The fatigue was the self-doubt. It was just the heaviness. It was my relationship with myself. And as that's improved, I just have more energy. It's like I've dropped a 30 kg weight off my back. And I finished 3 sessions and I feel light, happy. I just did that half an hour before I'm here.
Mm.
And that comes from being authentic. I had not learned to be authentic. I would hype before I taught a class or personal training. I would be hyped when I was doing it and then exhausted after.
Mm.
I was running on adrenaline, and I had been for years. And since my nervous system has calmed down and my relationship with myself has improved to the point where I'm just myself. And I bring my knowledge and experience with me, but I just be myself. I don't need the hype. I still teach well. I still communicate well. I just don't need to be hyped, and I don't need the adrenaline to do it. So I can help more people get from pain to good function, which is what I love to do,
Mm.
and have more energy at the end of the day. And the flow is fantastic. I can help more people and have more energy at the same time. How
Yeah.
do you do that? You do more and still have more energy. It's by not wasting the energy with the self-doubt and the self-criticism and running on adrenaline instead of just running on feeling comfortable in my own skin and being
I
myself
know.
and being happy with it.
Yeah. I
What a
remember,
difference.
I remember in the beginning of the program, that was one of the things that you wanted. You went, I love my work, I love my clients, and I do a great job. But I am running on adrenaline and it is exhausting and and I don't feel authentic. All of that is just completely gone, busted. And here you are, right? So let's talk about what you said before you dropped the bomb about how old your son was. Um, and so you were saying about your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your partner. And so, yeah, and I want to expand on that for the people listening in. So nobody ever really teaches us about being in relationship with ourselves. In fact, we get taught to be out of relationship with ourselves. We are taught to not trust ourselves, to not trust our intuition, to listen to authority figures, to, listen to other people who know better than us. And so we grow up doubting ourselves, looking for, what do other people think about, what I should do? And, you're not, and particularly for women, we go around pleasing other people, putting other people's needs first and putting our own needs last. And we get told that we're selfish to be thinking about our own needs. And so all of that is bullshit. And it's abuse. It's self-abuse. Our mothers didn't realize that. They got taught that the same. Our grandmothers didn't realize that. We're realizing it now, and we're breaking that chain. And so in healing your relationship with yourself, and you put your finger on it beautifully, Melody, that it actually transformed not only your relationship with yourself, but everybody else around you.
Yes.
Because, when you're not putting your needs first, when you're not taking care of yourself, when you're not standing up for yourself, when you're not speaking out, what we do instead, and so just, in the example of, your relationship with your partner, is, let's say, he says something or does something, and then you get upset and you take it personally. Well, then you've got these wounds, and because you're not in relationship with yourself, you're busy just trying to survive. And so then you start blaming him for, and then it can end up having, being this really stupid, argument or fight. And then you both hang on to your stuff and don't feel very good. And it takes a long time to sort it out. And, whereas when you're in relationship with yourself, and it almost seems counterintuitive, because a lot of times we do things in relationship, we don't speak our truth because we don't want to rock the boat. We want to keep the peace. We don't want to upset people. But meanwhile, we hold back and we swallow all the things that we want to say. And so it builds up resentment inside ourselves, which comes out in other ways and creates dysfunction. So when you're in relationship with yourself and you're loving yourself and you're caring about yourself, you actually have more strength to what you said, you stand your ground. And so you start speaking out and you begin saying, hey, blah, blah, blah doesn't really work for me. Can we talk about that? Well, before you know it, you're having conversations you haven't had before, and the other person isn't upset like you thought they would get. And then something happens, and let's say they're having a shitty day, and they said something dumb, and in the past you would have reacted to it, but now you're actually strong inside yourself and you realize, oh, they're having a shitty day, not me. And you don't react. And so things begin, you begin being different naturally, which then begins impacting on the other person, and they begin making different choices. And then your relationship begins to find a different kind of balance or equilibrium where there's more harmony, because there's more harmony inside of you.
Totally, totally. I mean, my partner was out in the early stages. I was starting to change quite quickly, and things felt different for him as well. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be as upset for as long. And he was wondering if all my coaching with you had to do with my relationship with him, like what's going on here. I went, it has nothing, I'm not working on my relationship with you when I'm with Leanne at all. And so then he wasn't wondering, well, what are you guys actually talking about? He knew that the changes were positive, but he thought maybe it was all about us because he could feel the difference. And so then he started commenting on how different things felt and how much better everything was. And he started taking responsibility for himself and going, well, I could have said that better, or things just started to relax, evolve, improve. So many times, I mean, one time he just sat down and he wrote down all the positive changes that he'd noticed in me. And not in a way like, you need to get fixed. Go see Leanne, get fixed. Just really marveling at the changes in me. He has done NLP, and he knew that there was, that we were working at that kind of a level, at a deep level. And so we're happy. We're actually happy. We're just happy. We have a moment where we sort something out, we sort it out, and then it's gone the way it probably should be. It's just like, I say this, he says that, I won't do that again, or I'll change that. I'll leave a note next time. Done. Smooth, comfortable. And I haven't done couples coaching with you. I've just been working on myself and the relationship with my son. He just says, I want to hear your voice, Mom. I'm missing you. Let's talk. How are you doing? Sending pictures.
Is that an unusual thing for him to say?
He doesn't even know that I'm doing coaching. He's just getting more lovey-dovey these days. He was when he was younger, but he's gone through hardening through it. Yeah, no, he's just soft and warm and loving. And that's just his response. I don't know what I'm doing that's different that brought that on. And I know with my clients that they're feeling, I don't talk about it, but they're feeling something. And for me, I know it's the authenticity, that I'm just being me. I'm still the personal trainer, same experience, same teaching, same skills, but I'm just, I guess, being authentic, and it comes across to them. And so many times they'll go, I love this session today. That was so good. I really enjoyed that we're doing blah, blah, blah. And they wouldn't be coming if they weren't happy, but they're being quite expressive. And leaving was real, like long smiles on their faces. It's good. It's really good.
That is so beautiful. Oh, yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so inspired. And we could go on and on, but we're just going to begin to wrap up. Right. And so just mentioning, if anyone is just coming in now, welcome. And you want to go back to the beginning, because Melody just started off from the beginning, just sharing really deeply. And so, yeah, don't miss a thing. And if you've just joined us, please write in the comments and say hello, and where are you in the world? Melody's in New Zealand, I'm in Mexico, where are you? Because we're spreading this word around the world. So is there anything else that you would like to share in regards to what you got from the program that's just coming to mind now?
Well, I really want to share this with you because on the work side of things, which is the love of my life, that's my life work. Since the beginning of this year, I totally transformed the whole system that I work from. So I've changed from working 48 weeks per year down to 40 weeks per year. I do a school teacher's routine, like 4 terms per year with holidays all the way along. My clients love that. At first they were, oh, I might not get back to it, but they love it. I've introduced different aspects of fitness in each term, and that's just going down a treat. I'm inspired, they're inspired. So I feel like I'm being very creative. The creativity is flowing, and I just couldn't be happier. I think things are just rolling from strength to strength and from joy to joy. And I don't judge myself. I'm just in the moment, working out what the next best decision to do is, or creating the next thing I want to create. I feel better than I felt my whole life, and I know that it's secure. Yeah, the work is real. The work is it's with me forever. It's not a moment and then it's going to be gone, or a course and it's going to finish. I've changed for life, and I'll stay on this transformational path. Wow.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
thank you, and just thank you and thank you and thank you again. So
Thank
glad we
you
met.
for everything that you've shared. Me too. It's been so much fun. And I have one last question for you, which is,
Yes.
if there are women thinking about the program, but they're still not sure or whatever, what message do you want to leave them about participating?
When you feel the urge, just make a call. Just call. Just make that first step. Text you, email you, and just set up a time to talk with you personally. That's what I would recommend, is just have that conversation with you and ask the questions that you've got. Talk about the concerns or obstacles you might feel. Just talk to you, Leanne, is what I would suggest. If they're wondering about doing it or not, just have that conversation and then decide when and if.
Wonderful.
Make the decision with a conversation, though. That's what I would recommend.
Melody, thank you.
You're welcome.
You so much. Thank you for your, just opening your heart and sharing so honestly with people. I know that people listening in just got so much from it. And, just you sharing all the different examples and moments in your life. Thank you. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah. So Melody, stay online. We're gonna chat in a moment, and but we're gonna go out of the Facebook Live here, and so I'm just speaking to the people here watching. Thank you for making this time important enough for you to listen to what's possible, for you in your life. So if you want to talk about the Woman Beat You Drum program, send me a message, send me a note, and let's do it. Isn't it time to take your life back? Mwah! Thanks for being here. All right. Bye, everybody.